The shiur is dedicated Lilu Nishmas Rachalea Basav Chaim Tzvi. This is a continuation of the previous shiur, where we began to speak about two different types of Hallel. There's Hallel Shel Kriya and Hallel Shel Shira. We mentioned that Hallel Shel Kriya is a Hallel that we recite every Yom Tov morning, Pesach morning, Shavuos morning, Sukkot morning. That Hallel is accompanied by a bracha. That Hallel was enacted by Chazal, Zeichel the Nes, that occurred many, many years ago. And then there's a Hallel which is of a spontaneous nature, such as the Hallel on Leila Seder, that in effect is recited as a function of the Yeshuas Hashem, as a function of the fact that every single Leila Seder, a Jew is once again experiencing the Yeshuas Hashem, that Salah from bondage. And as the Mishnah describes in Psachim, found on page 1 of Yomar Mekomos, and Lashon Rambam, Perek Zayin Chamitzah Matzah, Chayav Adam Liros Hasatzmo Kilu Yatsa Mitzrayim, or in the language of the Rambam, Chayav Adam Leharos Hasatzmo Kilu Yatsa Ata Mishiba Mitzrayim. And as a result, that Hallel is spontaneous. And that Hallel is not accompanied by a bracha. And that Hallel can be broken up. And that Hallel can be recited at nighttime. Even though the Mishnah writes in Maseches Megillah and Daf Chof, Hallel is only said by day, that refers to Hallel Shel Kriya. The first type of Hallel mentioned by Avishai David. Mashenkin, the Hallel Shel Shira, which is on Pesach night, which is a radically different type of Hallel, said B'Shas Hanes, as a result of the Yeshuas Hashem, that Hallel can be broken up into two, is not accompanied by a bracha, and on the contrary, the Gemara says, pointed out by the Balamor, the Gemara says at the end of the third parak of Tainus, as a result of Tanir Shel Kshamim, and Hashem Yisbarach was Mashpia Geshem, as a result of that, they first went home and had a meal, and then they came back to say Hallel. So here also one says the first stanza of Hallel according to Beishamai, according to Basil, the first two stanzas of Hallel, and then one has the meal, and then the bulk of Hallel is completed after the meal. So he wanted to understand the position of Basil regarding these two stanzas, not just the first stanza, but the second stanza as well, related to Yetzias Mitzrayim. The Gemara comments in Psachim and Daf Kufit Chesem and Aleph, and here it's found on page number 2 in the Ma'amakomo sheet, Makkah number 13, all the way in lower right hand corner. The Gemara dashes the pasuk. Ma'idich Siv, it says in the pasuk, Halu es Hashem kol goyim, and the pasuk says, we're familiar with it, Shabchu kol ha'umin. The goyim should say Shabach to Hashem Yisbarach, Ki govar aleinu chazda. Why should they say Shabach? Because Hashem Yisbarach was mischased with Klal Yisrael. Ask the Gemara, what exactly is there? Why are they mechutanim in this obligation to say Hallel to Hashem Yisbarach? We are the ones who were the recipients of Nes. We are the ones who are obligated to say Shabach v'odot to Hashem Yisbarach. We call Yisrael. Answers the Gemara, Hachi Kama, Hallel Hashem Kol Goyim, Agvuras v'niflos Yav Badayu. They have to say thanks to Hashem Yisbarach and all the gvuros that He did for us. They obviously witnessed all these gvuros that He did for us. Kol shkeinanu the Gavar Aleinu Chazda, certainly Klal Yisrael, who personally experienced the salvation and the Yeshua of Hashem Yisbarach, certainly Kal v'chomer v'nosha Kal v'chomer, they were obligated to say Shabach v'odah. In effect, what the Gemara is saying, there are tzvei dinim. There are two separate mitzvahs here. One is called Hodah, thanksgiving. The other is called Shevach, or praise. There's a fundamental difference between them. For example, if a nes occurs to me, I thank Hashem. I'm mechuyev to say Hodah to Hashem Yisbarach. If a bystander observes the nes, he says Shevach. He says praise to Hashem Yisbarach. If, however, besides personally experiencing the nes, I also observed it, then I'm obligated in both Shevach v'Hodah to Hashem Yisbarach. Hodah is that which happens to me. Shevach is that which I see, and I am obligated to say Shevach. But if the individual, besides personally experiencing the nes, also observed it, then he's obligated in both Shevach v'Hodah. This then is the intent of the Gemara. The Gemara asks, Halu es Hashem kol goyim, Shabchu kol ha'umim, and the Gemara answers, Hallel Hashem kol goyim agvuros v'niflos David ba'adayu. They are obligated to praise Hashem for the gvuros and niflos that they saw. They witnessed that which happened to Klal Yisrael. Kol shkeinanu the gaber aleinu chazdo. A fortiori, we who not only witnessed it but also experienced it as well, are doubly obligated in both sherach v'odah to Hashem Yisbarach. There's a famous story that is told about Rabbi Mivalozhin. He once responded to a query of a Russian aristocrat who asked actually the question of this Gemara. What's the pshat? Halu es Hashem kol goyim, shavchu kol ha'umim. Why should the goyim be mechutanim in saying shvachim to Hashem Yisbarach over that which happened to Klal Yisrael? And he answered, on the contrary, the goyim are even more mechuyev to say shevach to Hashem Yisbarach, because we